Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for joining me, man. I'm excited about this. Get a chance to get to know you a little bit, talk first form, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, me too, dude. I really appreciate you reaching out, man. It's awesome to cross paths with another first former.
Yeah, that's what I love about first form. So what we're doing here, and I've already hit record and everything, so I'll cut and paste and all that. But what I do is I've kind of started this segment on my podcast. It's called the Phorm Phamily, and just talking to all the first form members, like what got you involved and all that. Like what do you do with first form? What do you love about it? We can talk some products and stuff like that. So. And just really just chat and get to know each other. That's kind of what I envision with this whole thing.
Cool. Love it, dude. Yeah, I've listened to you and Britt and you and my good buddy Redbeard's podcast.
Nice.
Great couple episodes, dude.
So. Oh, thanks, man. They're such good people. And that's what I'm finding. Everybody at First Form, like every single person I've reached out to, like I've got Jake, what's his name? Arvold is, he's going to come on the podcast, and like just everybody's like so genuine and kind, and it's what I love about First Form is it's like there's no intimidation factor with any of them. Everybody's just happy to talk and happy to get to know each other.
Yeah, for reals, dude. It's a community that I've been very fortunate to cross paths with. So all those guys, love them to death. I'm very, very good friends with Jonathan and
nice.
Jake both. So.
Nice, very nice. Did you know Britt at all?
Yeah, just through the first Phorm Outdoor games.
Oh, okay.
So I met Britt and Jesse, her husband Jesse, through the first year that they did the outdoor games, and then competed with Britt at the finals at headquarters. So
awesome. Yeah, she's so cool. Like, and in fact, I'm headed up to Montana in a couple of weeks. I'm going to try and link up with her and just get a chance to meet her. I never met her in person, so get a chance to kind of meet her in person and Jesse, and just get to know them a little bit better.
Yeah, no, that's way cool, man. Great people.
Yeah.
And then they have kids around my youngest age, Knox. So
okay, nice, very nice. Yeah. We must have kids. How old are your kids?
So I've got a pretty good spread. So my youngest is 7. My middle child, Maddox, he just turned 14, and then my oldest just turned 20.
Wow, that is a good spread right there. You're kind of like old Jonathan at Redbeard. He's got quite the gap there too, man.
Yeah. We must have had the same strategy, man. If you spread them out enough, then you can have them watch one another. So
exactly.
You don't have to come up with babysitters. Right?
That's exactly it. Mine are 14, so I got 14. Goodness gracious, 14, 10, 7, or 8 and 4. So they're all kind of jammed in there together. But man, it makes for a crazy life, a crazy household.
Yeah, keeps us on our toes, right?
For sure, man. So remind me, where are you at in Idaho?
So the biggest city near us, so closest Walmart, I like to say, is in Pocatello.
Okay.
If you know where Pokey is.
So I used to, I'm a nurse in my real job. I run a home health and hospice company, and I cover pretty much the entire western U.S., and I used to cover Idaho. So I spent a lot of time in Pocatello, Idaho Falls, Twin Falls, and then Boise. So yeah, I was in that area quite a bit. Got a lot of really good friends in Pocatello. So
very nice.
Really cool area.
Yeah, it is a great area, man. So the town that we actually live in is in McCammon. But most people don't know where McCammon is because it's so small. But.
Yeah, took care of a lot of people in McCammon. Not a lot of people. It is a smaller community, but we've had quite a few of our patients out there that we've taken care of. So a really cool area, beautiful area, man. Holy moly, that is some gorgeous country around there.
Yeah, we love it. That's what I live for, man. And we're on 7 acres here, so the kids have plenty of room to kind of spread out, go ride motorbikes, and just kind of keep the neighbors out of our hair a little bit. Anyways, it's perfect.
Dude, I hear you. So I live in. No one ever knows the town that I live in. I live in a town called Kanosh, Utah. Teeny tiny town. Well, so Fillmore is. If you know where Fillmore, Utah is, it's the closest to me. But same thing, like on acreage, so that my kids can just go and do their thing, be rowdy, make a lot of noise, cause a little bit of trouble, and the neighbors don't get too upset about it. I think that's the way the kids should live, honestly.
Yeah, for reals, man. There's a ton of value in that, and that's how I was raised. So I grew up in Lavahaw Springs.
Oh yeah,
where that is.
Yep.
Yep. Just a few miles away from McCammon here, and I actually met my wife Therese in Nevada. And that was kind of my end goal. It's like it was great money and everything in Nevada. Made a lot of friends, and also we were in a part of Nevada that was very sportsmanlike as well.
Mm-hmm.
So fishing and hunting and everything was high quality. But it was my end goal to get back here and just raise my kids how I was raised. You know, they always say that home is home, and it's like you move away for a while, and it's like, there's just so many benefits to living this type of lifestyle that I'd like to provide that for my own kids someday.
Dude, that is truer words were never spoken, man. I'm so with you. Like, just being able to raise kids like this in towns like this where they get to, you know, be in the outdoors and whatnot. Man, I'm with you. We moved to Colorado for about 7 years, and I loved Colorado. I mean, it's a beautiful area as well, but being able to come home, you know, be near the people, you know, let the kids be around grandparents and cousins and whatnot, and then just being in an area like, yeah, the sportsman side of it is how I like it versus like when I was in Colorado Springs, you know, there's a lot of good like hunting and fishing around there, but you actually have to drive a ways, which people don't think about of Colorado Springs. They're like, oh, it's really easy to get to the mountains. Well, it's easy to get to the mountains, but you really can't hunt close to there. You have to kind of go quite a ways to hunt and whatnot. And so, yeah, being here where like I literally can be hunting 2 minutes out my back door. You know, I in fact, I went and called coyotes the other day, just seriously 5 minutes from my door. It was a beautiful thing.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I can relate to that for sure.
That's awesome. We're actually planning to come up to the Lava Hot Springs this spring sometime. When's the best time to come up there and hang out at the hot springs?
So I prefer winter time, man.
Oh, really?
Just because, yeah, especially if you're coming specifically for the hot springs, then there's no better time to go to the hot springs than when snow's falling down. The kids can go hop out of the hot tub and go roll around in the snow and jump back in. And, yeah,
that's awesome.
And then it's less touristy. Let me put it that way. So it's not as packed in town. So that's how the locals like to enjoy it.
Well, and because I thought about that, like, I was like, okay, winter would be a great time because it's hot springs and it'd be nice to have that. But then I was like, I don't want to drive up I-15 in the snow and whatnot. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till, you know, springtime and weather gets a little bit better. But maybe we ought to plan that trip sooner rather than later so that we get there before it gets too crazy. When do the tourists start coming in, like packing into there?
So as soon as school really ends. So around that Memorial weekend is when the busy season starts. So
gotcha.
It gets pretty chaotic. But anymore, man, Lava, it just seems like it's filling up with people. I don't blame them. It's a great area. It's kind of like it's a hole in the wall type of community. You know, once people find it, they start talking about it. And it brings people in. So
well, it's like Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon's in my backyard. Same thing. You know, Panguitch, Utah. No one even knows about it until they go to Bryce Canyon. Then it's just crazy busy. You know, and like I said, people talk about it, and before you know it, it's just packed full of people.
Yeah, we've been through Bryce Canyon. That's beautiful country, man. Keep that a secret as long as you can.
Yeah, if everybody listen, just scratch that. You guys didn't hear any of that.
yeah, exactly.
Well, dude, let's jump into this. I'll try not to keep you too long, but I appreciate you jumping on and being willing to talk to me about First Phorm. And so I'm new to it. Like you said, you listen to those podcasts. I'm kind of new to this whole family. But I'm loving every minute of it, loving all the, the products that come along with it. But in fact, I just put an article up on my website talking about, like, I do love the products, but there's a whole lot more to First Phorm that I love outside of just the products. So for my listeners, I'd love to kind of get your input and maybe just a little bit of your stories. So, like, how did you come into First Phorm? What brought you into it? What motivated you to get into it? Maybe who did you talk to get into it? And man, just tell us a story of how you got involved with this.
Yeah, so it's a rather long story. Actually.
That's all right. That's all right. We got time.
yeah. So I think what really kind of began my journey with First Phorm was my wife. She goes to a local gym here in Income, and a lot of her gym community was talking about the 75 hard program. Yeah. And she came home and she kind of seemed a little bit interested in trying it. And at the time, it was like, I worked out regularly, but nothing like as intense as I do now. Mm-hmm. But I listened to her explain the 75 hard program to me. And it sounds like, and it's like, man, I do pretty much all those things except for the drinking part. Mm-hmm. And I have a W-2 job as well. And it was kind of my regular routine. I'd work Monday through Thursday, and then Thursday evening, I'd like to come home and enjoy a couple brews, and then that would kind of trickle into the weekend. I enjoyed kind of having my beer and that became my routine. So when
Mm-hmm.
she first presented that to me, it's like, it just doesn't really interest me. I enjoy drinking. I don't really have a purpose of going 75 days without alcohol. I haven't went 30 days without alcohol since I was probably 14. So so
That's awesome.
yeah. So it was, at the time, it was kind of intimidating to me, and
Yeah.
I kind of shrugged it off like, that's stupid,
Mm-hmm.
like, I work out good enough. I like to have my cheat meals on the weekends, and I'm good with that. Anyways, then I think it was my 35th birthday. So it was in 2020. So take us clear back to when COVID
Yeah.
started kind of becoming a thing. Then a lot of things were starting to change in my world, especially at work. So with my job, for what I do, I'm a continuous improvement coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So my job was one of those that you could kind of work from home. It was considered non-critical. So anyways, that kind of started throwing some wrenches into my regular routine, and I found myself just kind of falling into these different bad habits of drinking more often. Maybe not going to the gym as frequently as I possibly was, and then having access to junk food in the pantry.
Yeah. Yep.
So, anyways, it was my birthday, middle of June that year, and my wife and I decided to go to Wendover, Nevada,
Yeah.
and we went and spent the weekend, did some golfing, gambling, drank a lot, ate a lot of the buffets
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yep.
And when I got back to the household that following Monday morning, I work at 6 a.m. So I think I normally go to the gym around 4:30 or 5 in the morning. And anyways, I woke up that morning feeling like trash, felt lethargic from eating all that trash food. And then also hungover. It was still carrying over. And I decided to listen to Andy Frisella's podcast on 75 Hard. And it just hit me, man. It's like, dude, if I continue to do this, you know where you're going to end up. And I text Therese and I said, hey, the 75 Hard program you told me about a while ago, I want to start it today. And before I made that call, I actually asked Siri, I said, hey, what day is it 75 days from today? And Siri comes on. She said it was August 30th, which is the elk archery
Yeah.
opener.
Yeah.
so to me, dude, that was like a perfect sign. It's like, if I start today, and at the time, my mindset was, if I start today, I finish on the 30th, I can have beer during elk archery season. That's where my
Hey.
mind went. Which I'm kind of embarrassed to share that with you now, because
Don't.
my mindset's changed so much since then. But
Yeah, but honestly, it's funny that you say that, because so kind of similarly, 75 hard was something that I heard about it from a coworker that talked about it. And so I looked into it and looked up Andy and whatnot, and was like, oh, I'm going to do this. Didn't really get into first form much at all. I just really 75 hard was kind of what I was focused on. And it's funny that you say that, because like the drinking part of it wasn't a big deal. Actually, the drinking of the water part of it was a big deal for me, because I haven't peed so much in my life, but like that wasn't a hard thing for me. But there were some things that were really hard, like reading every single day, like that. And I love to read. I'm a big reader, but I'm a novel reader, and I like those kind of stories. But like a self-help book every single day, like that was tough for me, like to do that. So it's interesting that you say that, because everybody I think is a little bit different with 75 hard and what their approach is. So I honestly, I like hearing that from you, and I appreciate that your outlook has changed. But I appreciate that. I know my listeners are going to appreciate that, because I'm sure a lot of them look at that and like, there's no way I can do 75 days without any kind of alcohol. It's impossible. But obviously, it's not.
yeah, and that was the biggest gain for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned, that's what I love about the program, is there's something in it for everybody. Something within 75 hard is going to be challenging for everybody and anybody out there. So it pushes you to level up. Whatever that level up is for you personally, then it does that to you. And it realistically just does something with the neurology,
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
how you are wired and how you see things. And so that was the very beginning. And when I completed 75 hard, it just, I was super proud of myself. It was a confidence builder. It was like, wow, man, you were able to do 75 days straight without alcohol. And that's not even counting all the gains that I had from a nutritional standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, from reading books, like you mentioned. Like, I gained so much knowledge just from reading books. I thought I hated reading at the time. I hadn't read a full book since high school until 35 years old, and I started 75 hard. So,
but you're right. I mean, like you're talking about like the gains and stuff like that. Like, and a lot of people look at 75 hard and think, okay, well, I'm going to get fit, you know, and it's inevitable. You are going to be more fit at the end of it. But honestly, that's a small part of what 75 hard is on it. It's more of the mental side for me. And I think for everybody that ends up doing it, they get to that day 75 and they're a different human being. And whether it's reading books, cause you haven't done it since you were in high school, or, you know, whatever the case may be, there's just so much to it that it changes you. I think it changes you from a, you know, just a personal standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just so empowering for my wife and I to do it together too. Yeah. It was, you know, we've always had a great relationship, but it was even that much more of a bonding experience for her and I both to do it. You know, put all the BS excuses aside and do it together, no matter what it takes. So yeah, that was the kind of what gave me the perception, my first perspective of what First Phorm was all about. And as I'm sure you can relate, like that, going down that rabbit hole and doing that, kind of turned me on to Andy Frisella mostly, and then eventually more into the First Phorm brand. And I seen such great results with the 75 hard. I decided to do the Live Hard program that year as well. So in that, you know, once I did phase one of my critical tasks was to go 30 days without chewing. So at the time I chewed tobacco too. And like I say, back in my teenage days, man, I like to have a little fun. I like to drink and I like to smoke cigarettes. I was an asthmatic.
Oh man,
as a teen.
Yeah.
And I was overweight as a teenager too. I weighed 235 pounds in my senior year into college. I'm 5'8", so if that gives you any perspective.
What do you weigh now? Just curious, if you don't mind me asking.
No, not at all. So I'm probably 165 now.
Dude.
So
Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, for my listeners, I mean, a lot of people are just gonna be listening and not watching. I mean, a lot of people watch on YouTube, but for those listening, I wanted to give them an idea of 236 to 165. That's a big gap.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been an amazing transformation, a physical transformation. So, but yeah, so throughout those years, you know, I finally gave up smoking because I would wake up in the middle of the night needing to puff on my inhaler because it was that bad, you know.
Wow.
And I'd have these crazy dreams that I'd be running like marathons and stuff, and I'd wake up and I'd laugh at myself like, man, how cool would it be to be able to run a marathon and not breathe hard like in my dreams, you know? And I just never thought that to be a possibility for me when I was 18, 20 years old, you know. And so it's been really cool to experience this transformation journey. But anyway, sorry, I got a little off track there.
I love it.
So I made the wise decision to quit smoking because of my asthma, which helped a ton. But then I was an idiot and went to chewing tobacco to get my nicotine. So
you're not an idiot. It's addicting, man.
Yeah. So after 75 hard, it just kind of gave me that confidence. Like, dude, you went 75 days without drinking, you could probably quit chewing too. So I made that a critical task of mine within phase one to go 30 days without chewing. So if I chewed, then I obviously failed the program and I'd have to start over. Well, I made it that 30 days and I told myself, okay, I'm no longer a chewer, you know, so I don't chew tobacco. I haven't chewed tobacco ever since. So yeah. That's
crazy though, dude, that you were able to quit. And you know, like you said, I'm an idiot because I went from smoking to chewing, but it's an addiction, man. It's something that you kind of have to have. And honestly, that's human nature. You know, as humans, we have those things that we have to have, but it's where we structure those addictions, or a better way of saying it, habits, you know, to be able to improve ourselves. And I'm guessing I kind of know where this story is going, because it sounds like if you kind of got that addictive behavior, it's going to go from those bad habits. And it sounds like through First Phorm and through, you know, 75 hard and all that stuff, you've kind of transition. So I'm curious, okay, so how did you go from, you know, 75 hard, quitting those things, to getting more like, okay, I'm really going to delve into First Phorm and jump into that. What did that look like?
Yeah. So I think it was really that Live Hard program, like just starting to be a little more entrenched with First Phorm. And then, you know, I started following some of these guys that are a part of First Phorm, Jake Arvold being another one of those guys. And he was part of the First Phorm Outdoors side. So I didn't even know that that First Phorm had an outdoors piece to it, right? So I was all about just the mindset, 75 hard, Andy Frisella, you know, like, oh, this is my type of people, you know, always trying to improve and find their next best self. And I swear, man, God really put this community in front of me. Like, it couldn't have happened by accident. So that's where it began. But where it led to was my wife, eventually, just from buying some of their supplements and stuff, she got this email. I didn't even get this email. She got this email, and we're laying in bed watching Netflix, and she says, "Hey, I just got an email from First Phorm Outdoors, and it sounds like they're doing some archery thing." And I'm like, "What? First Phorm Outdoors? What are you talking about?" And she reads the email to me, and the whole time I'm like, "What?" It's like, dude, these guys like put together this challenge, this archery challenge for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they took everything that I'm passionate about, and they put this together for me to participate in. And I told Therese, I said, I'm registering for this, and I'm gonna effing win it. That's what I said.
Nice.
and she starts laughing at me, and I don't blame her, because at the time, you know, like she had never seen me get that passionate or that excited about something. And I'm like, no, I'm not joking. Like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it to my fullest potential, and I'm going to win it.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So that's, it was just goosebumps on my,
you gave me goosebumps, man.
Yeah. And that's how it was. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, dude, this is a sign from God. Like, this is where I need to be at the right time, and I need to fully entrench myself into this. So that's what I did, man. And long story short, I gave that challenge everything I had. And dude, it is crazy how it worked out. So I think the first year that we did it, the only people that qualified for the finals were the ones that took first place. So they had, I think it was 4 weeks in November. They had a different challenge each week. Yeah. And you had to be a first place contender to get your spot. I can't remember the first week. All I know is I took second 2 of the 4 weeks. And the 4th week, I literally tied for a first place position. Wow. The last chance I had, man. Wow. Myself and Brandon Willett out of Utah as well. Yep. Yeah. So, wow, man. That's impressive, dude. That is so impressive. That whole program. Well, I guess let me fit. Like, how did it go after that? You know, were you able to get in? And well, you said you met Britt going to that and whatnot. How has that gone since then? Yeah. So I won that 4th week, that kind of gave me my position for the finals. That year. And those guys, man, I felt like they were really dragging it out before they announced it. But I think what it was is they just had everybody at headquarters really reviewing everything. And you know, God bless their souls, they decided to I guess, allow two people to qualify for the finals that week. But anyways, dude, from there to the finals, it was just straight up training. Like, that's just kind of what my focus was. Yeah. So I was kind of had my head in the trenches and just really dialing in on my nutrition and prepping for the finals. And yeah, we all met there in St. Louis at First Phorm headquarters and met one another in person for the first time there. So it was awesome. Did you do a lot of shooting during that training time?
Good.
Tons and tons of shooting, man. Yeah, there were times that I'd get off work and it would be dark and I'd be out there shooting with lights on targets, shooting from inside the garage. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, that's so awesome. That's when I first came into First Form. Well, so Jonathan, I give him credit for really getting me into this, because I was kind of same with you. Like, I knew Andy and I knew what First Form was. I didn't really know about First Form Outdoors until I talked to Jonathan. And as I talked to him, like, oh my gosh, kind of like you said, like God's kind of like saying, like, this is the time, like, you need to be involved in this. Like, I've always been, so I'm a big runner. I like to run. I run marathons, do those things. Love to work out, lift and whatnot. But so supplements have been part of my life. But then when I found out First Form Outdoors and what it's about and who's involved with it and whatnot, like, and again, giving credit to Jonathan about that, because he's the one that kind of introduced it to me and told me about it. Then I was kind of like you. I'm like, man, this is built for me, like, and there's a lot of, I wrote this in my article recently, but there's a lot of supplement companies like trying to get into the outdoors, into the hunting scene, but they're just trying to sell product. They're just trying to push product. They're not trying to change lives. And that's what, like, to be successful in hunting and as a father or a mother or whatever, it takes a huge swath of things to be able to do that. And as I got into First Form Outdoors, I'm like, okay, they really are trying to do all of these things. And it's not easy, it's definitely not an easy thing to do. And even just doing those challenges and stuff like that, it's a hard thing to do. But man, it makes you feel so good about yourself. And then you also not only are challenged to do that, but then you have the resources to be able to do those things. So it's not like you have this impossible task to go after. It's completely possible, and they're going to help you do it the whole way. And at least that's been my experience with First Form and First Form Outdoors, and helping me get to where I want to get to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I couldn't back that up more than 100%. Like,
Yeah.
They're a great supplement company. To me, honestly, it's a huge bonus that their products are amazing tasting and they're amazing quality. But that's like a byproduct to what First Form Outdoors is to me. Like, it's the people that make the party and the energy that this group brings together and the support system that we have and the network structure that we have for the things that we love. Dude, you can't put a dollar amount on it. You know what I mean? There's so much value to it. It's unreal.
And that's what I keep trying to tell people. And I'm still new at this, so trying to convey exactly what you just said to people is still difficult for me. Because I'm the same way. Like, yeah, the supplements are great. I went running this morning. I drank my stuff, and now I'm drinking. I love the hydration stick, so I'm just drinking a little hydration to help me get through the day here. But a lot of really good stuff, but that's so secondary to everything else, with my personal coach that helps me, and then me being able to be a coach to other people and just trying to build that community around each other. And again, like I said, the resources that come with it, like, it's just built for success. And I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. And one of the things I found you off of the Facebook community is where I first, well, actually that's not true. A buddy of mine told me about you. Do you know the name Tyler Stout?
Yeah, Tyler's a stud, man. That guy is incredible when it comes to shooting.
Oh, dude,
awesome.
He's unreal. He calls me and he's like, "Hey, you got to get Clint on your podcast." I'm like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Well, who is he?" I didn't know who you were at the time, and so he starts telling me about you, and I'm like, "Man, he's a BAMF, man. Like, he's a stud," and like, so I was like, "Yeah, I got to get him on there." Anyway, so I started kind of stalking you through the Facebook group, but it was funny as I was looking through that Facebook group, like the interactions that you have with a lot of people. I mean, you're interacting with people. Like I said, it's not. I'm trying to explain this the right way. Like the interaction you're having isn't going to pay you money necessarily. Like you're just having those interactions to be a good person, to help people out. I mean, you're so consistent on there and helping people out. I mean, it really truly is inspiring, man. I don't mean to be blowing smoke up your skirt or anything, but you really are helping build what First Form Outdoors, what First Form is about, is that community and helping support one another and build each other up and help everybody be a better person. So I did want to say before we got too far into this is like, I do appreciate you as I've been able to find you and learn a little bit about you and, for lack of a better word, stalk you. I've appreciated that and what you've been able to do there.
Well, dude, that means the world to me. And I sincerely appreciate that.
Yeah.
And what I found, man, is I'm huge into karma, right? Like like, it's just a big circle, man. And if we can be supportive to others, then we will receive that same support when we need it. And dude, I wouldn't be where I'm at without having people like myself trying to help others, right? It's really a network of mentorship is how I view it. And First Phorm Outdoors, man, it's just the community. It's the community for me because they're all uplifting people. They're not the types that are going to sit there and put you down because of the style of hunting that you're into, or because you killed too small of an animal. It's not that type of community at all. It's like, we want to help one another be successful in all aspects, not just hunting, but in your physicality, with your mentality, with everything. We want to see you become the best that you potentially can become. And that's true story. There's no sales pitch in that. There's no money to be made in that.
But that's the cool thing about it, is it's everything that we hold dear to our lives. You know, I can tell you're a God-fearing person. You have your family. You like to hunt. You like to work out. You like to do all those things, and everything about First Phorm. If you're one of those people, and I think everybody listening to this podcast is pretty much one of those people, you know, like it's really what we're about, and helps us be better people and be better individuals. And again, whether that's being a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, whatever the case may be, it really is helping us be better. So I am curious though. So, you know, I've stalked you a little bit, but from a First Phorm product standpoint, I asked Britt this same question, but I'm curious, like, what are some of your go-tos? What are some of the things that you use to help get you through your day?
Yeah, so I've always been a pre-workout type of guy.
Yeah.
So I wake up extremely early, so I've got to have that stimulant, or that stimulant-free sometimes.
Yeah. The Enduraformance.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Love that stuff.
Oh, dude, and that's So I guess my regular routine, because I try to get some type of intentional movement in each and every single day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more impactful than others, but first thing in the morning on my commute into work, then depending on the workout I have planned, I'll either hit Enduraformance. So I'll use Enduraformance, which is a stimulant-free pre-workout. If I'm doing endurance type activities, so if I plan on putting some miles in running or hit type workouts, then I'll use Enduraforance. If I'm doing strength training, then I'll use Megawatt or Project One, which is it's more of a caffeine, more of an energy boost, and it opens up your blood veins to circulate that blood to the muscles to rebuild.
Yeah.
So that's my morning routine, and then I'm huge on the Formula One and Ignition, so the post-workout stack. So to me, it tastes so damn good, and it's just a fast reacting protein, where it's a treat to me, first of all. So if I go in there and I work my ass off in the gym, then that's my go-to. It tastes amazing, and it's doing my body wonders as far as rebuilding. So those are my two biggest. I recently started really diving down the magnesium rabbit hole. So I didn't really start taking magnesium until within the last 6 to 8 months.
Dude, game changer. It is an absolute game changer.
Yeah, it really is, dude. So I had horrible. So my Garmin watch, I don't know if you're on smartwatch.
Yeah. Attaboy.
Yeah. So data analysis, right? It's like, hey, what can I do to grow in certain areas? And my sleep was really kind of holding me back. So I started going down this magnesium rabbit hole, and once I started taking that magnesium, dude, I literally started noticing a huge difference in the quality of sleep I was getting. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I can prove it to you through my data. Yeah. I can show you what my sleep quality looked like prior to taking magnesium. And then once I started taking it, then it was a huge step change.
It's interesting, isn't it? I was kind of the same way. In fact, I was talking to, it was Britt Landers at First Phorm, and Brittany Landers. And anyways, kind of the same thing, and was asking like some of the things that are, most impactful to her. And I've heard, I'm a nurse, so magnesium is something I preach to people all the time. But I've always been, nurses are also the worst patients, by the way. And so I'm like, I'm not taking that junk. I sleep just fine. But this is the silliest thing, but I had quit dreaming. Like I never had any kind of dreams or anything like that. I started taking magnesium, and I started having dreams again. Like I was sleeping so hard that, and again, using the Garmin watch, I started looking at the data behind my actual rest, and it was unreal. And I'm the same way. As soon as I started taking it, boom. I mean, and now I'm like going back to the addictions and stuff like that. Like every night I've got to take that with me. I travel a little bit for work, and if I'm traveling, it's like one of the first things that goes in my bag. I'm not kidding. It seriously is one of the first things.
Yeah, for reals. And I'm not like a soda drinker or anything. So I used to always tell people I drink water, coffee, and beer. But now I can't even say that I drink beer because I'm going sober nowadays. So now it's water, coffee, and magnesium.
Yeah.
Those are my three things. But again, it's just an awesome nightcap. So I take it right before bed, and dude, it tastes amazing, and it's doing my body wonders. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my new first form addiction is the magnesium train.
Well, I noticed you have one of my addictions as well, and I guess you can't see it because my microphone's in the way. But I love the energy drinks. So I am a soda drinker, or have been in the past, and I love my energy drinks. And sadly, most of them are garbage. That's really how it is out there. And then I find the first Phorm. I'm like, wait a second, these guys have energy drinks too that taste good and are a whole lot cleaner than all the other crap that's out there. And so as I saw your videos, when you're out there fishing, you got a camouflage can drinking the energy drink while you're fishing. I'm like, my kind of guy.
Yeah. It used to be bushwhackers, the camo bush light cans, but yeah, now it's first Phorm. So
it's good stuff though. Like it doesn't. The energy drinks don't like give me like. It doesn't make my heart race. It doesn't make me feel weird or anything like that. I feel it gives me some energy, absolutely 100%. But it doesn't make me feel crappy like those other ones did.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just a clean energy, man. It really just gives me a lot of focus, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so. Me too. It's funny. It's funny that you say the stuff that you like because I'm the almost exact same way. I use Enduro-Formance before my runs every morning. I get up at around 4:30, 4:45 and go for a run. And same thing. I like the Enduro-Formance for that, just because I feel like it's better for endurance than the Megawatt is. But I'll use the Megawatt for my strength workouts. Dude, where I really love the Megawatt though is when I'm hiking. Like when I go shed hunting, I will seriously take some Megawatt before I go shed hunting, and I'm a beast on the mountain. So I don't know if you do that, but if you don't, you should.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. I'm always packing some powder in the hunting pack. Yeah. You need that extra boost. That's
you do.
Sure.
I keep trying to get them to get sticks of it for me so I can put it in my backpack. They haven't done it yet, so I just keep putting in a Ziploc bag. That way I can just cut the corner, put it in a water bottle, shake it up, and I'm ready to go. So that's what I've been doing lately.
Nice. Yeah. So have you purchased any of those funnels that
I did.
Has?
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I bought like 12 of those just so and in different colors, so I know like, okay, this one's level 1, this is pre-workout, and this is Formula 1 and ignition. You know? But yeah, dude, that's for me. I'll just grab like a 16-ounce water bottle, throw that in my pack, and then bring a couple of those funnels. So then I can just unscrew the bottom of the funnel and dump it in there, and I'm good to go.
So you'll pre-fill the funnel before you head out, and that way the funnel already has it in it because it's got the caps on both sides. And that's a good idea, dude. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, exactly. So then you've got your to-go funnel, man. You've got a funnel, so you're not making a mess. You're not having to deal with the Ziploc bag trick, and
Dude, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to start doing that because I think I've got 2 of them. If I remember right, don't they have a little hook on it that you could put like a carabiner on it or something? Yeah,
you can just clip it to your pack and you're good to go. And that's in a hard case too, so you don't have to worry about injured warrior, right?
That's a great idea. Dang, I'm gonna have to order a couple more of those so that I have a couple more on hand. Because I've done that with like the level 1 or Formula 1 and have used it that way, but I haven't even thought about having it for my Megawatt in my backpack. I don't know why. I put it in Ziploc bags. I guess I'm an idiot. That's why.
No, it took me a minute to stumble upon that hack too.
Yeah, great idea.
Dude, I spend so much time in the mountains. Like that's kind of another thing that I've really put a lot of focus on is how can I get away from all this processed food as mountain snacks and kind of dial in my nutrition while I'm enjoying the outdoors, So I put a lot of focus on making sure I take protein whey, so I'm still getting my protein in each and every day, even out while I'm shed or antler hunting or hunting or whatever it is. So
So what I'm curious on that. So what are you taking? Because that's a question I get asked quite often is like, what are you taking to the mountains to eat? And little backstory on this. So been a backpack hunter for my entire life. And there's this old video by Jason Hairston. He's the one that started KUIU. And he's going over his sheep hunting food for I think a 10-day hunt or a 12-day hunt. And he's putting stuff in there like Reese's peanut butter cups and Snickers bar. I mean, he's a professional athlete. He played professional football. Put all this crap in there. And so that was like all like I basically emulated that. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put everything that he says I'm gonna put in my backpack. And it's been great, but if you really look at the ingredients of it, and my wife, she's crazy about ingredients and just the garbage that we eat nowadays. But it's just crap, that I'm putting in my body. So I've been trying to change it and take more healthy things. So I'm really curious, Clint, when you go out, what do you take with you?
Yeah, dude. So for me, and I actually kind of learned this through experience because I was training for my first bodybuilding show one year, and I was during doing the Live Hard program, and it was during archery elk season. So I had archery elk season, and then I basically had my first show in October. So I still had to stay disciplined to my goal. So I just kind of took the time to go to Costco and pick out the regular foods that I'd normally eat, and then just but kept it in mind. Like I need it needs to be able to go into my hunting pack, right? It's got to be feasible. But I bring it home and I just kind of took the time to weigh everything out and pre-track it in the first Phorm app. So I made sure I was kind of hitting my calories and my macros and stuff. But what I found is like elk salami, that's my number one go-to. When it comes to lean protein, then, and it's not like it's extra heavy. It's dense in calories. So elk salami and elk jerky are kind of my main sources of protein on the mountain.
Gotcha.
And then obviously the first Phorm protein bars. And then as far as carbs, I do like Triscuits and then dehydrated fruit. Man, if you're not packing dehydrated fruit on your hunts, for me, that's a game changer. Because you need those carbs, especially if you're hiking, you're burning all that energy, right? You're a runner.
Oh yeah.
You know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good, clean, healthy carb though, and it doesn't weigh a lot. It's dehydrated.
Do you dehydrate your own stuff, or do you buy it dehydrated?
No, I just buy it dehydrated.
Okay.
But,
I've thought about going down that road of I do all my own jerky, so I dehydrate my own jerky and whatnot, and I haven't got into the fruit game yet, the dehydrated fruit game yet, and I keep thinking I need to and start just dehydrating my own, but dang it, it's so easy to go to Costco and buy it,
Yeah, it really is. And it can't be that processed, right? It's just dehydrated fruits.
Right. You read the label and it says it's a mango, and that's all the ingredients is mango, so it's got to be pretty clean.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's not sugar coated.
Yeah,
mangoes, right?
Exactly.
But,
hey, have you tried those the whole food first Phorm bars?
I can't say. Oh wait, yeah.
They just came out
vegan ones or the.
No, they're not vegan. I don't think they're vegan ones. They just came out with them, gosh, probably a couple months ago. And it says like whole food protein bar or something. I have some, but I don't think they're here close by. Check those out, dude. They're a game changer. And I keep using the word game changer, and I hate that phrase, but they really are. Like seriously, they're whole foods, so it's not a bunch of processed junk in there, and they taste absolutely amazing. So just an idea to get those and throw those in your pack too.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hop on there and get some for sure.
Well, let's. I want to ask you about hunting. So, I kind of stalked you and saw what you did a little bit last year. But tell us a little bit about your hunting year last year and what you got coming up for 2025.
Yeah. So let me think about this. So, last few years, man, it's all been archery season for me. I used to be a big rifle hunter, but ever since I put a bow in hand, it's hard to put it down. As long as I'm successful, that is. But yeah, so my archery season started with antelope, middle of August last year. Had a couple close calls, but never was able to seal the deal. But that was a good time.
Antelope are tough.
Yeah, dude, they truly are. This is only the second year that I've hunted them.
Oh, okay.
And this last year I just did the blind thing, so it tested my patience. Let me put it that way.
Oh yeah. It's frustrating. We did some spot and stalk archery antelope. Man, that'll test your patience like crazy. You get a lot of stalks, but it's so hard, man.
Yeah, for reals. And that's the year prior to to 2024 was my first year, and I think I at least put 30 different stalks in.
Wow.
And failed miserably, except for the last day on the last stalk. Like literally, I had to start heading back home. It was my very last stalk, and I said, if I don't make this happen, it's time to head back, dude. And freaking made it happen. It all came together.
Oh, so, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, I've been hooked to antelope archery ever since. But
nice.
But yeah, then I moved into elk, and elk is my thing, dude. That's where my passion is. That's where my love is. That's where I put majority of all my time and effort. I mean, I'm setting cameras, I'm scouting throughout the year, and my brother and I, we put a ton of time and ton of effort into the pre-work of our elk archery hunt. And this year, actually Jake Garbold and some of the first Phorm Outdoors crew, they kind of got me talked into this tree saddle thing, in archery hunting. And it's not necessarily a big Western thing. I don't know very many people that actually do it in this part of the country, but we had a Wisconsin whitetail deer hunt planned for that October. So I need to buy this stuff anyways. I need to get familiar with it. So it's like, well, I'll go out and try it. And I got fairly familiar with it, and it was fun. I actually had a good opportunity, I think on like the second day of my hunt to shoot a bull. Had one come in at like just under 20 yards, I think. Oh, man. And it was kind of a raggy bull, and I had some sweet trail camera pictures of a couple giants, So I didn't take him, but then it was one of those things where I was questioning myself. It's like, man, I don't know, maybe I should have.
It's hard to pass them up on that. I mean, you pass them up on that first day, and then you kick yourself the rest of the hunt.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I knew that there was quite a few bulls in that area, and they kept hitting the cameras. And it's like, if a bull like that gives me the opportunity, I would love to have one of my kids with me.
Yeah.
So I told myself, it's like, if one of the big boys don't show up, I'm going to try to pull my youngest child, Knox, who's 7, out of school and give him an opportunity to experience some of this. And so I think 8 or 10 days went by, and those bigger bulls never did give me an opportunity. So I had a wallow kind of set up where it had some smaller bulls kind of hitting it pretty consistently. So yeah, I got my boy up there with me. He had all this camping stuff, and just got to enjoy that time with him, show him the experience of, sleeping in a hammock, having a campfire, and that was way cool, dude. And then, it's not a short hike to where I'm hunting these critters either. It's a couple miles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're leaving Spike Camp. I can't remember what time it was, but giving ourselves an hour before first light to get there. And I was a little bit nervous. He's a strong 7-year-old.
I was going to say, to go that far at 7 years old, that's pretty dang impressive, man.
Yeah, he's tough, but there's still a part of me. It's like, oh, there's a chance I might have to carry him or throw him on my pack.
Yeah.
But dude, he made it all the way on his own.
What a stud. Man, what a stud.
Yep, it was way cool. And then he sat there at the water hole with me, and I can't remember. No, I don't think we had anything come in the first day. It was the second day that we had a bull come in. Man, he was just so pumped. It took everything he had to stay quiet when he seen that bull come in.
Yeah.
And it was a 55-yard shot, perfect broadside. The bull was wallowing in the wallow, so he got to see all of that go down and watch me pull the trigger and watch the whole thing. In fact, he remembered how it all went down better than I did, because he told me where the bull went afterwards, and I could. How?
Oh yeah, your adrenaline's going. You lose track of everything in those moments.
Yeah. So he was my sidekick in tracking that bull, and it was one of those. It didn't bleed hardly at all, man. I don't know what it is, but the last 3 years I've struggled to get a good blood trail.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it took us 3 or 4 hours to find him, but he was in the wide open. It just took us a while to kind of track him.
Yeah, man.
But it was cool because he got to experience that whole thing, man. Just start to finish, to finding the bull, and then only having like an hour before dark to quarter up and take care of the bull. And
What a cool
so
experience.
we had to pack that thing out at nighttime. He had a headlamp. He got to experience the whole thing.
Oh,
couldn't have asked for a better hunt, man.
that is so awesome. There's people that go their whole lives without experience that. Here's this kid at 7 years old doing it. Man, that is cool.
Yeah, it's way cool. And I was able to do a fair job at documenting the whole experience too. So got quite a bit of video and was able to put some clips together and stuff. So it's awesome. I still find myself going into my own Instagram and watching the videos just for memories. It was cool.
I was going to say, I actually kind of delved into that a little bit today before we hit record, just because I wanted to see how your hunting, went last year. And so I saw some of those videos that are on there, and yeah, what a cool experience to have that with him. And great bull, by the way, man. It was really cool bull.
Thank you. Yeah. He wasn't one of the great big giants, but I mean, can't complain, man.
Say archery elk, man. Like personally, I shoot that thing every single day. Like he's a great bull, and you only get so many opportunities with a bow with an elk. And so, yeah, that's awesome. Are you going to do that again this year?
Yep. I'll do some type of elk archery hunt for sure. I'm not exactly sure where I'll be going, but
can you hunt? I have never hunted Idaho before. Can you hunt every year elk in Idaho?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting for us residents.
Yeah.
Depending on the unit, but for us residents, there's times that you can even potentially get 2 elk tags.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
So 1 year. Well, in fact, it was the year that I was all in on the 75 hard and the live hard program. I killed an archery bull pretty early in the season. About the quality of bull is what I killed last year. A good bull.
Yeah.
But there was another good bull that was hitting the cameras, and they had leftover tags for residents. You just had to pay the non-resident tag price. Mm-hmm. So went and picked up a second tag, and I ended up harvesting that one, dude. Wow. So that was the season for the books.
Yeah, it was. My gosh, that's what you dream of. That's what dreams are made of, right there.
Yeah, it was perfect. I had to buy a second freezer, which was a great problem to have.
That is a good problem.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is so cool. I'm with you, man. I love elk. I got one sitting right here. I mean, I love mule deer too. Like I've got all my mule deer over here, and I love mule deer, but there's just something about elk, especially with a bow, when they're screaming at you and you can call them in and I always use the word, and it's a terrible word for it, but it's intimate. You're so you're just in their business. You're within 50 yards, and it's just there's no other feeling like it until you've experienced that feeling. You just can't understand what that experience is like.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's an area that we hunt here in Southeast Idaho. There's not a tremendous amount of elk, but the elk that are in there, it's like you become so familiar with the same elk that you start giving them names, and you start, they start hitting cameras. It's like, oh, there's Blade, there's this bull, there's that bull. And, and then when you have that moment with them where your harvest all comes together, it's just that much more impactful.
Yeah. So special,
it's cool.
Man. It's so special. All right. Before I let you go, when are we going to go fishing, man?
Dude, yeah, we've got to put something together quick, huh?
Dude, I mean, seriously, I would love to come and do that. I don't know if you've ever had anybody come and go fishing with you, but dude, that would be so fun. You guys are catching some monsters up there, dude. That's unreal.
Yeah, thank you, dude. It was a blast of a week. Tell you what, had my family, my brother's family all up there, and well, you probably seen the videos. My 7-year-old, all the kids were hooking fish, and I don't know if you've ever steelhead fish. I can't remember. Did you?
So I never have steelhead fish. I've done a lot of salmon fishing. I mean, I've done a ton of fishing, but I've never gone for steelheads.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a lot like salmon. Well, if you've ever fished for salmon in Idaho,
I have. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. It's a fish of 1,000 casts, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very, very challenging, very difficult to get these fish to take your line. Oh. So when you do hook into them, or when you have a week like we had last week, where we just had a lot of hooked fish, man, it just makes it very, I don't know. They're trips you'll never forget, because it's just a blast, man. So.
Well, if we don't get something worked out this year, we're gonna have to plan something for next year and get together and do some fishing together. Because one, it just looked like a good time. It looked like some beautiful country that would just be so fun to see and be at. But man, to be able to go and catch fish like that, and more importantly, be able to hang out with some cool dudes like you, like that would be so much fun.
Yeah, for reals, man. I'd love to take you. So if we, it's going to be coming up soon on a different river system that's closer to home, well, closer to both of us, actually.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we can put something together there. And then also years past, what I'd like to do when I do fish this area, then I like to try to throw a little antler hunt together too. Sweet. In the same trip. So there's some pretty good antler hunting country in that neck of the woods, and then I'll try to slip away and do a little fishing. It's a perfect weekend.
That sounds like paradise to me, dude. That's heaven. If I think about heaven right there, that's exactly what it is. Let's go find some antlers and let's go catch some big old fish.
Heck yeah.
Well, cool, Clint. Well, I'll let you back to your day. But before you go, just so everybody knows, I like to do a little plug so that everybody knows where to find you and follow you, so they can keep tabs with what you got going on with, well, both with First Phorm, but also just, personal and whatnot. So if you don't mind, give us some plugs and where people can find you.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm mostly active on Instagram. So it's just Clint Kingston #1. And then if you're not part of the First Phorm Outdoors community on Facebook, like I say, if it's not for me, but if you want to become part of the community, see what we're all about, man, please do. Because if you're like us and you love the outdoors and you're a supportive, positive person, you want to see people win every day, day in and day out, then it's the place for you. So
it is. I love that group I guess that's what it is, a group more than any other group on Facebook. And I'm part of quite a few of them, but to your point, Clint, it's just the most positive group. Everybody's there to support each other. So for those listening, I'll put some links out there so you guys can find these pages, find Clint very easily, be able to follow him on Instagram and see his adventures. So guys, if you want to see some big old fish and some big old elk and whatnot, you should be following him. He's a killer. He's a mean man. So I love your content, man. I love what you're putting out there. You're doing a fantastic job, and I'm excited to be part of this family with you, and I appreciate you taking the time with me. And I look forward to a good friendship. I think you and I can have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, me too, dude. And with these archery shoots coming up too, man, I hope to catch up to you.
Yeah, which ones are you doing? Speaking of that, do you have any that you're planning on right now?
Definitely TAC Utah.
Sweet. Yes. So registrations in in 5 days. Next Wednesday, I think, is when it is. So
I think I've got a countdown clock ticking right now.
yes.
You know how that shoot is, man. It goes quick. You've got to be on your toes.
Yeah, if you're not on it in the first day, you're not getting in. So, dude, that'll be sweet. If we don't see each other before then, we gotta spend some time together at that shoot.
Yeah, for sure. So
cool.
I think First Phorm Outdoors is hoping to be up there too. So
yeah, when I talked to them, they said they were planning to do that one, and they were kind of waiting for Colorado's to come out to possibly go to Colorado, which actually I think it got released today. I think they're doing it down at Purgatory, down in Durango, Colorado. So I think they're planning to be at both of those.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, it should be a good time. So yeah, we'll definitely, like I said, if we don't get a chance to hang out and do some fishing before then, we'll have to make sure that we hook up and spend some time there together.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks again for having me, dude. It was great chopping it up with you.
Anytime, man. I'm happy to have you on anytime. We can talk hunting, we can talk anything. So we're gonna have to meet up, and hey, maybe we do a podcast while we're there together at TAC.
Heck yeah, that'd be way cool, man. So
cool.
Yeah, better tell that Tyler Stout I said what's up to, and get him rounded up.
I will. He'll be with me. He's coming to shoot. He's in my group with me at going to the TAC in Utah. So he'll be there with me. So I'll text him, let him know that we got this podcast done, because he's been asking when it's going to get done.
Sweet. Love it.
Cool, man. All right, I'll let you back to your day.
Okay, have a good one.
All right, you too. See you, buddy.